Hey there, welcome to the CodeSpeak Labs YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. My name is Mr. Edmar, and today I will be going over the basics of how to use Brush Ninja to create our own GIFs. Let's jump in. So this is Brush Ninja. This site allows us to create our own custom GIFs, right? But before we begin to draw our own custom GIFs, we need to understand what tools are available to us and how to use those tools. The first tool I want to focus on is the brush tool. So this brush tool allows us to draw freehand, basically from a scribble to anything really that you can draw. On the left-hand side of the screen, you will see a lot of dots. These dots represent your brush size. For example, if you choose the smallest one, whatever you draw will come out looking pretty small. Whereas when you click on the biggest one, it's a very big line, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. I will go back and show you how to do that. So once I have my size selected, on the right-hand side of the screen, you will see a color palette. So this is where I choose what color I want to draw. So there's brown, there's yellow, there's green. If there is a color you want that isn't on this color palette, you can go ahead and come right here down to this like color blob where you can choose your own custom color. So there's this slider that you use to slide between the colors. And then once you have the shade that you want, so like let's say like a blue, you can go ahead and choose a variety of colors between blue over here, and it goes down to a different color from the right to the left hand side. So if I want this like bluish shade, I can go ahead and click on pick color. And then now I have that color selected, and I can draw with that color. The next tool I want to focus on is the select tool. So this tool, as the name implies, is used to select objects. So whatever I just drew, I can go ahead and using the select tool, I can click on the object that I want, and that's to select the tool. So once you have the blue box around it with the circles, that means it's selected. Once the object is selected, there's a lot of different things we can do with the object. We can move the object around to a different part of the screen. We can make the object bigger or smaller. We can flip it this way, or we can also make it go upside down. We can also make a copy of this object. So now there's two of this object, right? Let's say I don't want two objects though. What if I want to erase this object? I just go ahead and click on this trash can, and there it goes. It's deleted. I can also select the object and delete it another way using my keyboard. So once it's selected on my keyboard, I can go ahead and press the backspace, and it's deleted. There's another part to this select tool, which is this part right here where it says select objects from a list. So if you go ahead and click on it, it gives you the two objects that are currently in the canvas, right? So I can go ahead and select the yellow squiggly line, right? And I delete it. Oh, but I accidentally deleted. What if I didn't want to do that, right? So what can I do? If you go up to the top, you are going to see this undo arrow that is pointing to the left. So like kind of like counterclockwise. So I go ahead and click undo, and my yellow squiggly line that I accidentally erased is back. I can also go a few steps further to where I only have one purple or bluish squiggly line, right? But let's say I went too far back. I can also do the redo tool, which is the other arrow that is going clockwise. I redo until I have these two lines, right? Let's say I want to select all these objects in here because I want to delete them, right? There's two ways that you can do that. One way is by clicking and make sure you're on your select tool and you click and drag, and this blue box is going to start appearing. I go ahead and make that box big enough to fit all my objects in. And now it selects every single object in the canvas. And now I just could hit the backspace, or if I didn't want to do that, I can also, I could also move all these around together, just like doing this. I can make them smaller altogether, can make them bigger altogether. And I could also delete them altogether. The other way to select all the objects in the canvas is on your keyboard. If you go ahead and press and hold Control, and then you select A, you can go ahead and select all the items, all the objects in there. And you click backspace. So that's basically the select tool. Those are the few things that we can use it for. Our next tool is the shapes tool. This one's basically if you're like me and aren't really good at drawing circles, freehanded, we can use the circle shape. In this circle shape, we notice that for the color right now, the outline is going to be black. It was blue, but now I changed it to black. So if this is the case, I can go ahead and start making a circle with a black outline, right? But now let's say I made my circle too far to the left, right? And I want to move it. If I'm on the shapes tool and I try to move my shape, look what happens. Instead of moving my circle, it creates another shape. So to avoid that, every time you try to move a shape, you have to click on the select tool. So once you have the select tool selected, go ahead and grab the shape that you want, and now you can move it. Now let's say that you want a shape that is not only black on the outside, but also on the inside, or a different color. So to do that, for a previous shape that you've had, you have to select the shape one more time. So if you want this circle or ellipse, a different color inside, you have to go ahead and select it. So select it, and then this paint bucket right here, this means this checkered color where it's gray and white, it means that it's transparent, so it's see-through. If I go ahead and click on it and I choose a different color, let's say yellow, now the inside of the circle or ellipse is yellow. But what if I want the whole circle or shape to be yellow? Then my outline, I can go ahead and click on the yellow, and now it makes everything yellow, right? So my fill could be black and the outline could be yellow, just like that. I went ahead and deleted my shapes. So that's just the basics of the shapes. I could do multiple things with them. Using the select tool, I can move it around, make it bigger, smaller. But again, using the select tool. There's also the text tool. which allows us to write things on the canvas nicely. So on the left side, towards the bottom, you're going to see 3 lines with a pen, and then the T's of different sizes, right? So the T's of different sizes just means how big our text is going to be. This is going to be the biggest text, and this is going to be the smallest text, right? I will choose one in between. And then I want my text to be like, it could be a black, a red, a blue, could be whatever you want, right? Okay, so I will choose pink. But now, how do I write? How do I write? So if you go ahead and go to the pen with the 3 lines, this is where we add our text. So if I write pink, I could go ahead and use it. And now it appears on my screen, right? So I go ahead and click on it and it's there. Now let's say I want a different font. So the way to change the font, you go up here and then you see these different fonts. So we have the Times New Romans, we have the Impact. So once we have the Impact, I can go ahead and you see how it's different from the previous one. Times New Romans is going to be different from those 3. So these are like different fonts. And we can always just choose different color and different text size, just like that. I'm going to select all of these objects and erase them. We also have our line tool, which just makes a nice straight line because my lines never come out straight. So I go ahead and I can make different lines. Pretty simple, right? I'm going to go ahead and Control All and remove. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is how do we make a GIF, right? The way GIFs work is there's multiple frames so that it can make it look like it's moving, right? A picture that is moving. So at the bottom, if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see this this white square with the add, this yellow add square, right? So it just says add frame. So if I click on it, it gives me 2 white frames. Right? I had my first white frame, and now I have a second white frame. If I go on my first white frame and I start making, let's say I want to draw a little time lapse of a strawberry with some blueberries being drawn, right? So how do I do that? So I'll go ahead and take you through the steps. So if I start making the body of a strawberry, something like that, right? I'm going to go ahead and select it and make it a little bit bigger, just like that, and maybe tilt it. There you go, just like that. Kind of looks like the body of a strawberry, right? And then if I click on the other side, on the next frame, there's nothing, right? This is just a new clean frame with nothing on it. But I don't want that because what I want to do is after every single frame, I want to just make little changes so that it could look like it's moving just little by little. So to do that, I go ahead, there's the add button, and then there's this other option that looks like two boxes or 2 papers on top of each other, right? So if I go ahead and click on it, this is to duplicate the frame, this previous frame. So now I have 2 identical frames, right? But in order to have a GIF, you have to have a little bit of movement, right? So it could look animated. Okay, so now I will go ahead and create a little different movement. Let's say let's say my next change is going to be actually giving this color. So the fill is going to be red for my strawberry, right? Now I make a copy of it. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to start drawing the leaves of the strawberry, the top of the strawberry. So the top of the strawberry is like a green, right? So I'm going to go ahead and change the color to green. This green is fine. So now I kind of messed up, so I would use my undo tool. Something like that, right? Now I go ahead and make a copy. And after every little difference, I go ahead and make a new frame. So this frame started with just the body of the strawberry. This one I changed the color to red. This one I added the top of the leaf. And I'm going to continue doing that. So just another few leaves. Just like that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I like that. I go ahead and make another frame. So now these last two are the exact same frames, right? Okay, now I want to add some eyes to the strawberry, right? So how do I do that? I just go ahead and use my imaginations and use circles. Okay, I want the fill and the outline to be black. So I select them as black both, right? And then I start clicking and dragging to create the eyes that I want. I go ahead and select it. Maybe I want it a little bit smaller, just like that. And now I'm just going to make a new frame. And now I'm going to make a duplicate of the object. So remember, come to the select tool and make a duplicate. And there you go, you have a second eye right there. So now these last two frames are the same. That kind of looks creepy, huh? Let's add some white cartoon eyes, right? As my students like to say, cartoon eyes. So I go right here. I want a white for the glare. And then I'm going to add the white and now a new frame. So you see that every time I make a difference, I'm going to be making a new frame. And you'll see why later, once we are done with this. Okay, so now I want to add a happy face or a smiley face, I guess. So I go over here and just make a curve for the smiley face. Yay, it's happy. Okay. Something's missing on the strawberry. What is it? It looks weird without the dots, right? Or is it just me? Anyways, these last two frames are the same, so I will continue. And I'll draw a few dots on this frame, and then I'll make a copy of it and draw more dots, make a copy of it, and keep drawing some dots and making new frames until I'm happy with the amount of dots on my strawberry, right? Just like that. Okay, so this is the strawberry. And now this is how it looks, but that doesn't look like a GIF, right? It's not moving. So how do I make it animated? So now what I do is I go ahead and click on the blue play button. So now this is animated, right? Because every little change was added up to the final result and it's being played over and over. So it looks animated, like it's moving, right? Like a little movie, a little time lapse of how we created our strawberry. Let's say I want my strawberry to, like the final result, to have more frames. What will happen? So if I add more frames, let's say on the last frame, I want more time. I want this frame to show up more times. I just go ahead and click on the plus button, let's say 5 times. And I come back and click on the play button. So now I see that my strawberry shows up and stays like that for a little bit longer, right? Just like that. Anyway, so that's how I make a GIF on Brush Ninja. And that's how you use some of the basic tools on it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good one. Bye.